Welcome back to round 3 of the 2022 Down East Players Cup. This is Gatekeeper Media's presentation of the MPO lead card. We're out here at West Meadowbrook Park in Greenville, North Carolina for this A-tier. I'm Andrew Fish, joined in the booth by Nick Hanson.
Hey disc golfers, how we doing today? I'm excited to be back at this course as it's going to give much more stroke separation per hole, I would say.
Yeah, if you've been watching this coverage, we had round 1 at this same course, and then yesterday we were at ECU. And that funneled Dan Hastings, Matt Thompson, Michael Johansen, and Ian Burchett up to the lead card.
A great foursome we have here today, and here's our leaderboard. There's even some possibility for somebody to come up from the chase card.
Yeah, chase card, possibly even third card. A hot round out there, and if the lead card doesn't take care of business, a lot of people in contention. We saw Dan Hastings in round 2. As we mentioned then, he's a very solid putter, good forehand, good backhand. Look for him to make some noise.
Yeah, up next we have Matt Thompson. Matt shot a fire round in round 2 to get himself jumped up to lead card. We're going to see here he's got an open bag. Look to see some good shots out of him today and hopefully continue the trend from yesterday.
Absolutely. Michael Johansen, by far the most experienced player on this course. He doesn't get a whole lot of rounds out here, but he has a lot of big game experience as well. 18 career A-tier wins or higher. The other players have 2 A-tier wins combined.
Yeah, Ian Burchett next here. Yesterday was actually his first time on coverage, so congratulations to stay on the lead card here. You're going to see his Castoplast lineup there, and hopefully he's going to continue to get some birdies like he did in the first round out here. And we're on to hole 1. 319-foot par 3. Really, you just want to hit the gap off the tee. If it can turn a little bit for the right-hand backhand player and then fade at the end, you should have a look at birdie.
You see the Down East Players Cup, eponymous to this tournament. One thing I want to watch here, all 4 of these players had bogey or worse on hole 18 of round 2. So overnight, you might be thinking, man, I really missed an opportunity to, hold another stroke over my card.
Matt getting a little love there, getting up to about circle's edge, I would say.
Yeah, no sign of nerves on the young guy.
The headwind here made it even a little more intimidating today, I would say.
Yeah, I couldn't tell exactly what direction it was coming, whether it was a little direct head or right to left cross.
Dan unfortunately going to hit and kick left early, making it through the initial gap, so hopefully he's able to get up and down.
Mm-hmm. Johansen looking like he's going to a Comet, the disc he's best known for. And that kind of just moved left the entire way. He might have an opportunity for a little poke. And Ian playing with some stability here. I like the way he just delivers it through the gap. Gets to the long right side.
No fear. Nice to see.
Dan seems to have found maybe the only cluster over there. And hangs it out wide. Long look for a par save. Certainly not what he's hoping for with a share of that lead.
Oh, what a run, though. It looks like he's almost even outside circle 2 from back there.
Yeah, for sure. Johansen, he putts ringers, so I'm always impressed at how he gets those to carry, even though they're not glidey discs. Matt with the air ball. He'll tap in for 3. And Ian as well.
unfortunate start here for our card. You really want to get off this one good and clean and hope for the birdie.
Certainly. As we mentioned in round one, you want to get your scoring done early and late here. So getting hole one is about the easiest of the first maybe 6 holes or so.
All right, we're off to hole 2, 435 feet. It's a par 3. 2 options off the tee there, right or left of that tree. You're going to have OB on the right and left side. Once you get up here, it kind of pinches right here, and then the green opens up a little bit, OB surrounding it. It's pretty aggressive to go for it, I would say, but with it being the final day, I could see some people trying to get into the circle here.
Yeah, I think so. I'll spoil and say that we're not going to have a star birdie frame here. Only 3 players in the entire MPO field birdied on this round out of 56. Decent little layup from Matt Thompson. Johansen lines up. Looks like a high-speed driver. But even that is not really a go-for-it play. That's just him punching through the gap and, you know, assuring a 3. And wow, the crosswind just kind of takes that.
Yeah, it sure did. He's going to hit that fence, though. Should be able to get up and down.
Yeah, there's a lot of room on that right side. The OB is not super in play as long as you don't air it.
Yeah, the 2 gaps you have to hit here on 1 and 2 is really a nerve-wracking start, you could say.
Yeah, it can be. If you are feeling those nerves initially, like this is a 10-foot gap that looks like 4.
Also going to be pushing to the right, but Dan looks like he'll have a jumper there.
Yeah, circle 2. Ian very comfortable with both forehand and backhand. Hangs the forehand out, and that'll be a little tapper.
MJ giving some decent bids from deep on these last 2 holes, but more just conservative, I would say, than anything.
Mm-hmm. That looks like pure layup. That was never really above the basket for Thompson.
Making sure they get their 3s here early. Dan giving it a little bit more of a bid after bogeying hole 1, I would say.
It looks like he might not have a great feel for that right now. You know, maybe the putts just weren't coming out right in warm-ups, but that just kind of slithered out of his hand. If these guys are treating hole 2 as a bonus, it looks a little low energy on the card, but if they're treating hole 2 as a bonus, they've all achieved their goal.
We're on to hole 3, 284 feet, par 3. OB right and left side. It goes and wraps around and connects on the back side of the basket here. High turnover or high sidearm is going to get you close to the bucket.
Yeah, I expect at least 3 forehands. Hard to say what MJ's going to go for. I like this out of Thompson. He held the corner and gets a good overstable skip.
Close to bullseye there.
Mm-hmm. And not known for this, but well thrown. MJ going a little faster, and somebody's closer.
Great shot by MJ for that serviceable sidearm, as he would say.
Yeah. Ian Pureheiser. This is probably going to come up a little short, but no problem, though.
Should be about a 15-footer.
Mm-hmm. We mentioned it in round 2. Dan goes with that 1-finger grip on his forehand. Little unusual, but, I mean, the guy's got 74 Pdga wins.
He knows what he's doing out there.
And if he's the furthest out, I imagine the rest of the cards shouldn't have a whole lot of difficulty.
Got our first birdie of the round for our lead card, and might be on our way to a star frame here.
Yeah. This is a really solid regional event. Many top pros elected to go to the big money skins in Missouri this week, but you see 3 North Carolina players on this final day lead card, and Ian currently in Southern Virginia. So Carolina players holding it down, huh?
Yep, this is their kind of golf here. The woods, I would say, comparative to what maybe Ian's been playing lately with the Pro Tour events that he's on, and I would say the more open courses.
Yeah, for sure.
Here we are at hole 4, though, 405 feet. It's a par 3. The hole is dead straight, but really you need to throw some flex on your shot to get it into the green. As you can see, once you get close, you're going to have to navigate some trees to get in to get your birdie.
Yeah, basket blind, though. Like, you have to know which tree it's behind if you're really trying to target that. Good delivery by Thompson. This is going to flare out to the left. Never mind. It just gets buried in the grass.
Yeah, that was interesting. This grass has been pretty skippy for the most part.
Mm-hmm. I must just not have gotten back to hyzer at all. Johansen gets it to the right side. This is testing the height of the branches. And nicely thrown. I think there's like 2 primary goals here. Number 1, get through the gap. Number 2, yikes, punch into the woods on the far side. The field isn't bad, but if you're coming up short, this can be a real challenge to get up there. The gaps just don't line up neatly.
No, you have a tough upshot if you're in the field, unless you're directly straight on with it.
Mm-hmm. Dan plays for the hyzer flip. There was a pretty severe tailwind on this hole, but that you can't feel at all from the tee.
Yeah, that's one thing about throwing out of these gaps and into these open fields at this course is the wind changes about mid-flight, so you really have to be prepared for that.
And creative option by Ian. I can see how the roller made a lot of sense there, but it just never really got over. Cut rolls out, and he's got to throw a little skip shot into the green. So he'll have a backside 40-footer for his bogey. Good delivery by Thompson.
And there's that straight-on upshot. As you can see, he had that pretty wide gap there. Right or left, though, it's pretty hairy, like you were saying. Didn't seem too impressed with that bid there, wanting it to turn over a little bit more through those gaps, and really looked like a full bid.
Yeah, Dan's certainly going to be aggressive, confident in his ability to make the comeback putt. Johansen needs no step from 40 feet. I'd watch that again.
Just such a smooth spin putter.
Mm-hmm.
So enjoyable to watch.
And normally he likes to put a little anhyzer on it. I guess from that straddle stance, he's got to go hyzer instead. Thus far, Ian's miss has been a little bit early left. Hastings with a good cleanup. Dan said he woke up feeling a little crummy yesterday morning. I hope that doesn't affect him. Like, you can prepare for your round, you can try to keep your energy up, but 3 hours is a long grind in the woods.
It is. Especially if you're not feeling the best.
Discover Greenville, North Carolina, where we put whole hog Q on the map and inspiration lives on every corner. Unplug for a moment of tranquility or enjoy one of our parks, fields, greenways, or trails. Then recharge with fresh, local flavors, one-of-a-kind art galleries, and toe-tapping music. North Carolina's Emerald City is filled with countless hidden gems. Find yours in Greenville, North Carolina.
All right, and here we are at hole 5, 397 feet, par 3. Mando on the left side of the tree there to protect the other fairway. For the backhand player, it's just going to be a flat to hyzer shot. It is a little bit uphill. I would assume we're going to see some good drives here out of our crew and hopefully get some in the circle.
For sure. Johansen, nuke or crank? I can't quite tell. Either way, he's pushing it straight, getting the distance, and then letting it move left. He's going to come up well short. That's surprising. Nick, I had a great time in Greenville this week. Really appreciate what the town has done to support this event. There were 260 some players. Every night we were at a different restaurant or bar for the player party. I think the organizers did a really good job, in my opinion, of like getting the out-of-towners to kind of interact and see what the town is all about.
They sure did with, like you said, player parties 3 nights in a row, different venues. You're really able to get out and see some things, meet some new people. So hats off to them on a well-run event.
Yeah, and if you're running an event, like that's a really good way to get engagement and buy-in from your town or your host. We see Thompson get to about circle 2, Hastings well inside circle 1. And Ian looking to bounce back from his recent double. This seems like a good way to do that.
Great shot. He's going to be a little deep up top there, but he'll be right about the circle.
Yeah, clean look. So right now we've got 3 guys at 21, 20, and 20. Hastings is going to bump himself up to a 21 as well after this hole. There you go.
Thank you.
This card is really in control right now. There are other people on the chase and third card who could make a run. What kind of mentality would you have if you're in the position of Dan or Matt or MJ or even Ian?
I think you just need to stick to your game plan, even if you are ahead or in the lead, because once you start to play tentative and sometimes scared, I would say you start to lose strokes by just trying to be not as aggressive. So I would say for these players, they just need to keep to their game plan that they did on Monday, or I did on the first day, and I hope it works for them.
Yeah.
Hole 6 is 414 feet. It's a par 3. Players are going to be throwing a left to right moving shot that then finishes hard, or you can throw the left side sidearm full turnover, but a very tricky green to access.
And you're throwing over OB. Dan to that forehand, plays a little hyzer flip. This is a wonderfully technical shot. Doesn't quite get the distance he needs.
He's going to be a little short, but he'll be able to give it a bid from there.
Yeah, he got the left-right correct. Ian, that's a little too low. It just burns.
Yeah, he seems to be almost playing like a little quick right now. Just kind of needs to settle down and settle into the round here.
Yeah, and that may be a function of, final day, A tier, lead card. Like, this is what I've been playing for. But until you've been in the situation, it's tough. It's tough to, navigate what that emotion feels like.
Yeah, because those emotions are on every shot, every step, walking up to your shot. You're going to feel it.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of reasons we play disc golf, right? It's for fun, it's for exercise. But for Ian, he's been grinding it out on the Pro Tour. Matt's young. He had a 16th place finish at Idlewild. What do you feel like it is that like, how do you combat those nerves or that desire to win when you're in this position?
I think it goes back to that last question, just sticking to the game plan. If you create a game plan and it's, set up to work, and then you play your game and, say you shoot the score you wanted, but you didn't win, you still won within your game plan. You got to play against yourself when it comes to golf. Even though you're playing against other people, you still have to beat the course yourself. And so if you execute your game plan, but you don't win, to me, that's still kind of a win.
Yeah. I mean, you can only control yourself. If you play match play the entire time, it's a recipe for being frustrated. We see Dan jam from circle 2. That's a really confident stroke. And if he gets in rhythm, it could be dangerous for the rest of the card. I feel like Ian needs this for his own sake. Par save in.
Left corner, but we got it. Hopefully this is the one that gets him going now. He got one in the bucket from distance. He just needs to adjust a little bit, and they're going to be dead center.
Yeah, and we're about to play a kind of a slew of par 4s and 5s. Ian's driving has certainly been his strong point this entire weekend. So I like to see what he's going to do off the tee.
Hole 7 here is a 679-foot par 4. Players are going to be throwing a flat to hyzer shot to get somewhere out here between these tee pads to then have a good look in towards the green. OB is going to be lining it right and left and then wrapping around behind the basket. A very tough par 4 to start this run of like about 6 holes, I would say, that are pretty hard and pretty technical.
Yeah, for sure. And this is maybe 2 inside. It is flipping up nicely. Wow. Full distance out of Hastings.
Yeah, he's going to be up by there by that second tee pad.
Good shot.
Probably about a 250-foot in.
Yeah, that seems right. This is an example of one of the holes on this gold layout that, is a real tester. Ian gives it good width. That's going to be up by Dan even further. Holy cow.
What a smash.
The original design for the Meadow course was by Scott Faison, and maybe 6 years ago, Max Krotz and some other Greenville locals started thinking about how they could, enhance the course, make it more challenging. So they started, adding pin positions, thinking about additional tee pads, doing some clearing, and by now they kind of feel like this is, it's maybe not Pro Tour gold level course, but it's such that it's, it's making some of these locals really, really solid. Like they've now got a crew of 990 and above MPO players.
Yeah, this is a solid layout here to get better on, I would say.
We see Thompson get bogged down a little bit early. He does throw a responsible skip shot around the corner. That'll leave him about 300 into the green, still with a chance for par.
I would say on these holes here, par is fine as long as you get 1 or 2 of them. But once you start to take a bogey here and there and you can't get birdies on the other ones, that's what's really going to get you into trouble in this middle stretch.
Thompson doesn't give it the width, and there is out of bounds at that corner.
And unfortunately, coming up short and out of bounds there.
Yeah, line 4, somewhere in circle 2. Hastings, this might have enough width.
Also a little short. Wow. So that's gonna be a big error on that upshot there because he was in good position to get up and down for birdie.
Yeah, prime position, and he just got a read.
And now he's got to make a circle 2 putt for par.
Yeah. Ian corrects. I would have liked to see him push that another 15 feet to the right. Like, don't even bring that OB into play at all. Dan not thrilled. I don't know if that's with himself or if there was a distraction to the right. Matt Thompson.
That's a great putt to save your bogey.
You see the full extension with his arm.
He knew he needed that one.
Mm-hmm. Johansen for birdie, right side, nice and high. And this is now Hastings for bogey. And well done. A small window to hit.
Small window to hit, straddled it just right, and looks like it's only about a disc and a half wide there.
And not to discount Ian playing the hole exactly the way it's scripted.
Here we are, hole number 8. It's a 578-foot par 4. The tunnel that you have to get out of is very important to that way make sure you can get up and down for birdie or for par, but if you don't get out of this gap, you're going to have trouble saving par.
Overstable mid from Ian. Pushes it inside, but all the way out.
Probably not the shot he wanted, but the result is what he wanted. He's
Yeah.
out, and he's got a chance to get up and down for birdie.
Johansen, that same stable Comet we saw on hole 1, also leaks inside and tags the last tree. Seems like it stayed in the gap. He might have a chance to get up and down. Dan, this is a very technical forehand. Plays the hyzer flip.
It's going to hit early and burn out to that right side there. It'll be tough to say if he's got a shot or not. He could be pinched right behind that tree.
Thompson, wow, pushes it straight, lets it drift.
Oh, man.
Inches from pay dirt. All right, MJ, it looks like hyzer flip to start. Pulling it to the right. That won't get all the way to the basket, but should be 100 feet for his up and down for par.
Yeah, he at least got to the center or the left center of the second gap.
Mm-hmm. Dan lines up a forehand roller, and this is tricky if you don't get the angle right. He's getting it to stay on cut, but he'll be in the same zone as MJ. Initial low ceiling makes this a challenge. Everybody's funneling to there. Wow.
Wow, is right. The turnover sidearm, he must have been way off to that left. I feel like I feel like once you get out, it just sets up for that righty backhand so well.
Yeah, that may be a function of wind or Ian's comfort, but at any rate, he's got the best opportunity in this card.
He's going to be, I think, inside the circle for his birdie look.
Mm-hmm. Dan, a responsible little chip with the forehand. We'll see the same from MJ. Little ringer, slight anhyzer.
Oh my goodness.
Good heavens.
No way. What? Throwing in sidearms?
That thing came in as soft and perfect as a putt.
I'm shocked still. That was incredible. Great shot, MJ. Wow. Ian, unfortunately, going to be dead center, but just short. Catching the basket there. He'll have a tap in for par.
Dan stabs in his par as well. And this will be Ian and Matt both to clean up. That feels like a really wild momentum swing.
Yeah. Here we are at hole number 9. 298 feet, par 3. It's going to be a tunnel shot that slowly moves right at the end to get out to the opening. For me personally, I'm throwing a flat forehand. The turnover is also an option. What are you throwing on this one, Fish?
Badly. I found firsthand that if you get off the fairway, it's a real jungle. I think for MJ, the backhand makes sense. Everybody else, I imagine, will go forehand. Ian. Hyzer release, pops up to flat. This is driven.
Oh,
Good heavens.
Shoo. Catch that last tree there. Otherwise, that probably would have hit the cement.
And Dan tries for the Hyzer release, but it just kind of rolls over on him. He'll be in the woods.
Good prediction here with the rest of them going sidearm.
It's I think if forehand is your strength, it's the best way to shape the gap. It might not be the best way to park the basket.
I don't disagree with that.
But I don't know how you conceptualize this. I feel like disc golf is so much about giving yourself opportunities to score, and having a whole bunch of, 28-footers for birdie would be better than parking a few shots and then having to scramble from the woods for the others.
Yes, yes.
Wow. Nicely done by Dan. He's got to go probably a little faster disc than would be desired, just because of how far back he was. Thompson, a little Hyzer putter. Leaves him a cleanup. That was a very different putt than we've seen out of Ian.
I thought the same thing as soon as you released that.
Slow and lofty. But in his in. That'll get him to 20 down overall, 2 down for the round.
I was going to say, he's fighting, he's clawing his way back. He's 2 under.
Yeah, and with as far ahead as he was from the field, he's still in okay shape to make a push in the back. A lot of things can still happen over these final 9 holes.
You're 100% right, Fish.
Good par save from Dan. And at under 300 feet, this was a suspiciously hard hole. Not very many birdies. The shape is so specific. And the basket elevated just enough on that nicely done planter.
Yeah, it's one of those holes where if you get out and you have the 35-footer, on a lot of holes you'd be like, oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
But on this one, you're like, well, it's a 35-footer, but it's also a raised basket, so now it's got this other element.
So we thank you for watching on the front 9. You see that our card is still tightly packed up, everyone in contention. But at this point, the field is kind of caught up. Gavin Rathbun with an 8 down start. Paul Oman shooting 7 down at this point. They might be a couple holes ahead, but the field has caught.
Yeah, they're on fire right now, and if the lead card sees that, it might scare them a little bit, or it might kick their butt into gear and give them some more birdies.
If they're paying attention to the scores. Anyway, we're going to have a barn burner for you on the back. We hope that you'll join us. For Gatekeeper Media, I'm Andrew Fish.
And I'm Nick Hanson. Like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the back 9.